I guess welcome back to the book club without a club.
That sounds good to me.
Okay. I think we'll get you like a wooden chair. Would that be easier?
It'll probably be too noisy. I think I would just make it work like this. I think it will be okay. And if something spills, it's water.
Yeah, but that's a Look, the iPad though.
True. But then this will make me upgrade. So, okay, win-win situation.
Win-win. Okay.
Okay.
So we finally finished Apuleius's The Golden Ass, which was which is the only surviving Latin, the first, no, it's the only, isn't it? The only surviving Latin story.
Yes, so according to Wikipedia, it's the only ancient Roman novel in Latin.
So you worded that much more eloquently than.
Oh, I read it.
Oh no, what did I just do?
Oh no.
No, we're just gonna go because worst case, hopefully that one picks it up.
Okay.
Okay, because it's something just flashed.
Okay. I have been dying to hear what you think about this book.
I didn't hate it,
Okay.
but it was not what I was expecting.
I have to agree.
I mean, it was to a degree where I knew it was about a guy who turns into a donkey because of the title. The other aspects. Aspects. But yeah, I wasn't expecting.
Okay, so you didn't hate it, but did you like it? Or how would you rate it?
I don't know. It's hard to rate like ancient, okay. I feel like it's hard to rate like on a star system like the classics unless it's the Tale of Genji, and then it's just.
I have thought a lot about it. There were a lot of things that I didn't care for in the book, and we'll delve into that. But my rating falls between 3 and 4 stars.
Okay, I give you that.
That might be on the generous side, but it does have its merits.
Was it the latter half that kind of?
I was more scandalized by certain parts of it than I thought I would be. I just could not believe that it was part of the story.
It's got everything. It's got romance and humor and bestiality. It's
Yes.
What else do you need?
Well, and a lot of mysticism too.
Right. Yeah, but I mean that kind of fell within the. Are you talking about like how the ending took the big turn, or just like because mysticism? That's how he turned into the donkey anyway.
Yes, yes, the ending was, aside from the other things,
Right.
the ending really dragged on for me, and at that point, I was ready for it to end, and I was not expecting it to end the way it did.
Right.
Like after reading all of the adventures and everything that.
I don't know. It's a weird book in the sense that it was actually the what's his name, Apuleius. Apuleius.
Apuleius, I think, yeah.
Apuleius.
Mhm.
He didn't actually like write the donkey story. It was actually like an ancient tale that it's basically like fan fiction where he put like a bunch of these other like little narratives. So you had the overarching story, but then you had these little stories in between about like the jealous wives or jealous husbands, or I thought was interesting was it's the first time that the story of Cupid and Psyche is ever told, and I know a certain someone who would be amazed by that fact. I believe. Because until they have faces, you don't know.
True.
I put that together with Clive Staples.
I did really enjoy the story of Psyche and Cupid. Um, but it's more autobiographical than I thought.
Talking
Did
about like
you?
the beginning part, or like,
I mean, just certain things throughout. Like I did a little research
uh,
into it, and that's what I was able to find
so
out.
like the author ended up being like a worshiper of Isis, or
What was it? No, like where he was from or
oh,
something,
the
and
how he started the tale, and then he was the one that met the person, and then it switched to Lucius.
I think
Yeah,
I don't remember. I just quickly saw it.
yeah.
Um, and he had more prominence as an author and philosopher than I mean, I didn't know much about him, but
Other than this, I know nothing about him. So,
do you think there, did you pick up on a lot of the philosophy, I guess, that he may have instilled into the book?
but that's what I like. The introduction was very interesting, um, especially when he talks about how even to this day, there's scholars that think that it's just supposed to be like this like body lewd tale for like entertaining the masses, and then the other half think that it's actually this like philosophical work that needs to be analyzed, and there's like these two different sides to the whole. I think that's so interesting that one book can have two drastic views.
Well, that's what I was hoping for. It being more philosophical than lascivious?
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't expecting. I mean, I guess in the beginning, like all these old ancient books have some sort of like aspect to it. And the beginning, when he was like, he met the servant girl, and then he saw the woman turn into a
Photos,
bird.
yeah.
Yeah, and then he saw the woman turn into a bird, and was like trying to get with her, just be a bird. Like all that kind of made sense. It was later when the woman just walked in and like it just
And I've also been meaning to ask you the stories within the story.
yeah.
Was the Arabian Nights like that, or which story was like that, where there were stories within stories within stories? I think
It
the
was the Arabian Nights.
all right, that's what I mean, because it brought back a lot of memories from
Yeah.
that book. Um, yes. Uh, So it sort of followed like the same. I mean, I don't know if format is the right word,
Right.
but that's just what kept coming to mind. And I mean, as you know, I was quite scandalized by all of the spicy parts. But then again, if you think about it, that's what a lot of people like most about the Canterbury Tales. I mean, I haven't read it
Right.
myself, but I just was not. It's it's not an element that I expect from these ancient texts. I don't
Right.
know
I
why.
guess it's been around forever, though. We're here.
Yes, but I guess I mean, like just harking back to that time period, I just did not think that um, it was as open a topic as. I mean, I don't know why
You look
I
at like
associate it with with being very dark. Just you made a good point. I mean,
well, even the Arabian Nights had all like the harems and the bathhouses and
yeah.
I mean it's like my great uncle used to say there wasn't much to do before cable. It's
I mean, I guess I am surprised that it is as discussed or mentioned as openly as they are in
Right.
books.
right.
When it just seems like the church held more sway back.
Maybe this was maybe like pre because didn't like that start coming around in like the 1500s and this was what
I guess.
one.
But you weren't
I was more surprised about,
surprised.
like I said, the latter scene. I wasn't expecting bestiality,
I was not either, and ooh,
and then
that was
and then even after that scene, um, when when they turned it into like they wanted to turn it into a performance,
as
but as
punishment.
punishment. Like the one lady wasn't punished, but then they wanted to use use the other lady to punish her. But even he was like, no, I'm not touching her because she was so just mean-spirited. And
Yes.
you remember what she did to the girl?
Okay. Is she not the one who lusted after her stepson? And
No,
then, which story is
no,
that?
she was the
Because
one
there's,
that her her husband knew about his sister. That the father told the okay, the father told the mother when that child was born to kill the if it was a daughter to kill her, but she sent her off to another family and
yes,
didn't
I
tell the
remember
husband, and
that.
then they had the son. But before the mother died, she told the son to take care of her because she was his sister. And he brought her in and was taking care of her and gave her her dowry.
Yes.
But the wife started thinking that this was a mistress, so she hired the people to come torture her by letting setting her on fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I know which one you're
And
talking
so,
about now.
and then they caught the woman when she found it. And then the doctor tried to come and she tried to poison the doctor. No, the doctor poisoned the husband, and then she tried to poison the family of the doctor. And then
Yes.
that's when
And
she got caught.
he ended up dying.
Yes, everyone died.
Yes, so his widow, yes, was the one who,
Told the
Okay.
town leader or whatever.
all right, all right.
And
Yes, yes.
They were going to punish her by this before they put her out to be eaten by animals. But then he ran off, and then that's when he found the ocean and the magical roses of,
Yeah. Queen Isis?
yeah. I mean, how else you going to end this book, I guess, when, he shaved his head and was very proud of his shiny dome.
Yeah. Were you expecting it to end the way it did?
I didn't know what to expect with this whole thing. I mean, I guess how else are you going to end something like this? Or even if it's, I guess if it's many tales put together by, here we go again, Apuleius, maybe that was part of some like ancient, part of the original tale that he took and retold or something. I don't know.
Do you remember the tale of the wife's tub?
That was funny.
That was insane. I thought the gall of her.
It's so funny though.
I mean, all right, so I have to hand it to her, or we have to hand it to her. She was quite.
It's hard to talk about this one. Okay, so there's a tub, and her husband comes home, so she hides her lover in the tub, and then and she plays that someone bought the tub.
Which he says that he did. I mean, that her lover.
Yes.
Yes.
And so then the lover comes out and starts talking about the tub. It says it needs to be cleaned before he gives the money. So the husband goes into the tub to clean it, and then the wife sits on it and starts giving instructions to the lover of what he should do, but the husband is taking it as instructions on how to clean the tub. And apparently it got very clean. It was like this, I don't know.
That was so crazy.
It was fun. It's fun because who would have expected, like, I don't know.
I mean, I had to stop and actually make sure that I was reading it right.
But the whole thing had a bunch of twists and turns like that. Like when Lucius before he was the donkey, was coming home and he attacked the robbers, or he thought they were robbers, and then they were putting him on trial, and he thought he was about to be like murdered
Yeah,
for
just
the
killed.
crime.
Yeah.
And it turns out that he was so drunk that they were just like sacks of hay or something, and then
Oh, the wineskins.
wineskins,
Yeah.
and then there was the other one where there was like the group of robbers, and the guy came and he's like, oh, they wanted to like kill the donkey or something, kill Lucius, who was the donkey by this point. He was like, no, we should try to sell him, but it turns out that this guy was just pretending to be a robber so he could like save his wife or girlfriend who was also
Karate or something.
yeah, it was trapped. Like there was a bunch of
Yeah, just twists and turns.
right. It was very
Which made it exciting.
right. Like it was.
Yeah.
It's not one. It is one story, but it's also you could break it down and tell just pieces of it as individual tales, like I guess like the Arabian Nights in that regard too, where you have the whole thing, which is the one story of the woman trying to save her life and the life of her children in Arabian Nights, but you can still tell those individual tales.
Thankfully, there weren't any couplets in this one.
No couplets.
So you did like it? I mean,
Yeah.
or is it just hard to?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's my favorite one so far, but
Yeah.
I did. I enjoyed it. I'd rank it closer to the top than the bottom at this point.
Were you not scandalized though in any way?
I mean, I was definitely surprised, and we got to
All
some
right.
parts, and I laughed out loud, or because I guess laughed because the parts were funny, and then laughed because I was so. I don't want to say appalled, but like shocked or surprised. I don't want to say shocked because that gives a different connotation, but surprised. Like,
See,
these
I
aspects.
was shocked.
I guess. I guess it just doesn't.
Oh, well, I mean, it just may have been shocking to me because it just was not. It did not turn out to be the story that I was expecting. But then again, that's not always bad.
Right. I think that's half the fun. But then again, I don't like knowing anything about it. I just go into it.
See, I think you are rubbing off on me because I sort of feel the same way now. It's like I don't want to know too much.
Right.
But this was very interesting.
I mean, I would say it was, even though it's a smaller book, it was very, well, I guess it was like, I don't know if it was kind of dense in that. Like
Yes.
it didn't read quickly, but it didn't feel like I was spending 3 years on a single page, like some other books
right.
we've read.
I mean, actually, I thought it was a lot easier to read than I was first expecting.
Yeah, it definitely was.
I know.
It definitely, well, especially after the introduction, and he's saying all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, what are we getting into? And then I started, I was like, oh, it's actually very easy to follow. It's just, it's.
Yeah, right.
But,
I know, I agree with you. I am definitely, I'm glad that it's not any longer than it is because I think, I mean, just, it's the perfect length because if it was any longer, I mean, I would probably start dreading it like I did The Tale of Genji.
I don't think you could handle any more tales in this thing.
I am still just so floored by it all.
Well, I mean, at the same time, I was listening to 50 Shades of Grey, so I guess nothing's gonna. At that point, I was just immersed.
Yeah. Oh, and I was also going to mention, I guess the city of, or the town of Thessaly is always associated with magic or something.
Really?
Or, yeah, see, because I am also trying to read Cloud Cuckoo Land.
Oh yeah, how's that?
And that was mentioned in, I mean, that town was mentioned in it, and of course, magic was, it's good so far.
Look how all this is tying together. Look at
I know,
this.
I was so surprised. I thought, oh, about. So, I mean, I am glad I read it. I wouldn't reread it.
Right. I mean, maybe like portions of it for different reasons. I mean,
That's
that sounds
fine.
bad. I mean, like, I was gonna say write an essay, but it just doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know. Like, I think aspects of it you could return to, or like retell, or like use, like C.S. Lewis did. Like he didn't talk about the whole book. He just talked about Cupid and Psyche, and then created this whole other book, and something like that. Like certain, like, or like even let's go back to Arabian Nights, where the idea of like telling one tale as its own single. I think you could, but like going back for the whole thing. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
To be honest, though, I thought that you would like it more than what you're leading me to believe, I guess.
I did. I mean, like I think I liked it more than you did, for sure.
Okay, yeah.
Like I said, I wouldn't say it's the best one so far. I still think, even though it nearly destroyed us, I still think The Watermark is the best one so far.
Yeah, I loved that
Like,
book.
it was an ordeal, but I really enjoyed it. And I think this one probably tied, if not right below, Three Kingdoms.
Okay.
In my opinion. Because, I mean, Three Kingdoms was really good, too.
Yes.
But it was the same thing, it was just, like, so big.
Yeah.
And,
That one got very tedious, I thought.
see, I think The Tale of Genji is the first novel. It's because it has to sit on the bottom so everything else can, and it was so big and flat that it can hold the weight of all these other great things that came after it. So that's the reason.
Oh yes, that was. I mean, I thought the water margin was so much easier to read, even though it was so much longer.
Right.
I just really liked the cadence of the story, and just it was just so full of wonderful characters
Right.
and events, and just so it was very good.
But there's definitely parts of this book that I will probably never forget. But that was interesting too, how he explained how he heard all these things. It's because Lucius said, because I'm a donkey, no one's like worried about talking in front of me. So that, I mean, it makes sense why he's heard all these other little tales throughout. And I mean, I guess if you're a band of robbers, you're going to be talking about the body of stories that you could possibly tell. Or if you're trying to save your life from like a band of robbers, you're going to try to entertain them with, you're going to try to shock them. Otherwise, they're just going to be, they're just going to kill you sooner.
I just don't know why I was not expecting, or why I'm so surprised and shocked by those parts. I mean, I guess, I mean, not having read a lot of ancient books, I guess it's just not something I thought about. So I guess I just didn't even associate the two. But I mean, it's been quite rampant in all of the things that we've read.
There wasn't
Right?
much. I mean, there wasn't much to do, I guess.
I mean, yes, we know that. It's a natural human act. But I guess, that I always struggle with reading about it just
Right.
because I feel like it is such an invasion of privacy, and it just embarrasses me.
Well, not the show they were trying to put on. That was very public.
Because I feel like I am just peeping through windows watching people. So, I mean, it's not total smut, thankfully, but oh,
Yeah.
yeah. You don't feel the same way? Like it doesn't bother you? I mean, I think I am just the only one who's
No,
really
it's-
not bothered by it, but it just makes. I mean,
I guess I separate myself. Where to me, it's words on a page. It's not like I'm creeping through a neighbor's yard to peek through their blinds or something.
but Ryan, it just becomes
Because that would be
so vivid up here that I just cannot separate the two.
I don't know. It's just not real people doing not real things. I guess I guess I just have this disconnect from it.
Okay.
I mean, doesn't mean
Fair
that I
enough.
don't. It doesn't mean that I don't like enjoy stories and stuff like that. But I guess it's just like I said, I think we talked about it before, where people talk about how like they like immerse themselves and stuff. I don't understand that.
You don't get immersed in stories. Maybe that's what
Maybe
my
I don't.
my issue
Maybe I
is.
don't. Maybe I don't, because I don't really understand what that means necessarily. Like I get the concept,
Oh, that's interesting.
but I know that I'm still physically holding a book or a device and still physically reading words.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I've been transported to a different time. Like I feel like I'm learning about a different time, place, and I guess I can see, but it's not quite like a
Okay.
movie in my head.
Okay.
I don't know.
See, it gets played out, and it seems so visually real in
So you
my
see
mind.
it like a movie.
Almost, yes. Like
Struggle with that.
it's played out in my mind, and I can see and imagine everything.
Oh yeah, because I kind of have the same. If I read a textbook or a synopsis or something, it's the same experience for me. I don't know. I don't. But it doesn't. It doesn't tarnish my love of reading because I'm still constantly doing it. And then even I guess the closest thing that I might get to it is if I read like a graphic novel, because like there's actual pictures. I don't.
Oh, yes. I didn't even think. The pictures.
But like even 50 Shades of Grey, like they they do the thing, and I'm like, that's just them. Like someone's just saying they did this thing. And
Hi.
it's not like I'm driving in my car going like, ouch, ooh. Like,
Oh my gosh. All right, so since it's a feature that I have never really cared for in books and stories, I probably should not, for sure, even consider reading that.
it wasn't as scandalous as I thought it was going to be. It's in there. It's there. But it wasn't as like pornographic. If that makes
Okay.
sense.
I mean, or even graphic as people said it was.
I guess I don't need the first part. It wasn't as graphic. Yeah, I mean, it is, but it's not. I guess I was expecting. I mean, not expecting more, but like anticipating. So maybe that's. Yeah, I mean, it was tamer than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Still there.
All right.
Wouldn't recommend it for you.
All right. So having said that, do you see the appeal that it had for the millions of readers, it seems, that it...
Maybe it's just something new, something surprising.
So you think it was the novelty
Or it's like anything else, that trickle of word of mouth where, one person mentions a Colleen Hoover book and then their two friends go and find it and then two friends from
Okay.
there and so maybe it's the same idea.
Okay.
But
All right, I will give you that then. I mean, but... So you finished it.
Mhm.
Okay.
I won't finish the whole thing.
Okay.
I won't get to it.
Are you really?
I got to drive to work every day. Drive home, guys, do something.
All right, so have you started on the second one?
No, I
But I love this. I find it so hilarious that you're reading.
I listened to Twilight. Because they go hand in hand. I feel like if you do one, you got to do the
Yes,
other.
yes, yes. We've had this discussion. So
Yeah.
yes, I totally understand why you would segue to Twilight. But then again, it's all connected somehow, right?
And even Twilight wasn't.
Oh, you finished it?
Yeah.
And?
I mean, it was okay. But, I mean, it wasn't. I guess it wasn't what I was also expecting. I think it was a lot less happened, than I thought. And I guess there's like 4 more books or whatever. I don't know. I'm going.
Did you like it?
Read it or listened to it at least.
You amaze me. I'm always amazed at the things that you are able to actually start
Oh,
and just finish.
It's gonna get work. Ready? I'm diving in. I just started Pride and Prejudice because so Pride and Prejudice apparently influenced Twilight, which influenced 50 Shades of
Hmm. Okay.
I'm not dipping a toe. I'm diving.
Okay. All right. That's very characteristic of you, though. So that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. But I don't know. Listening to Pride and Prejudice is actually more entertaining than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
I mean, their manner of speaking is so
Mhm.
strange for us.
Mhm.
Um, like where they put the negative in sentences and whatnot
Mhm. I
is
have.
not what I did. Like
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But
Yeah. I have read it, but it's been years, so I don't remember like a lot of details. But I
Right.
remember liking it.
yeah, I mean, listening to it, I think, is definitely a different experience than reading it.
Oh, okay. So what is after Pride and Prejudice?
Probably a break. Probably something random or weird, but like not part of that. And then after that, I'll go 50 Shades Darker.
I cannot wait to. I cannot wait for the details.
Well, I mean, it just the 50 Shades just ends. Like all this stuff happens, and then this thing, the climax happens at the last minute, and then it's just like done. And I'm like, well, like, yeah, I hate
I just love that you used the word climax.
those.
I mean, it
I mean, it's Baytag's pyramid. I don't know.
very, very fitting. Oh, speaking of what's next,
Oh yeah.
what's next for us
Oh,
and
I
and
can't-
our book club? It's translated as the White Knight, right?
White Knight. Yeah.
Okay.
Triste LeBlanc or something like that. I don't know. It finally came in, and it's. You saw it. It's a doorstopper.
Yes, yes, yes. But I mean, at least it's not as long, or it doesn't seem as long as the water margin. So maybe it won't take us a year.
Yeah, I mean, as long as every page doesn't feel like 3 years, it should be.
As we have discussed many times, I think what really set us back with the water margin was just the fact that if you put it down for like more than a day or two,
Right.
you basically have to start over.
Yeah, I hope this one's not like that.
Okay,
I don't know. We'll see.
okay.
6 down.
How long have we been doing this? I didn't
You're
realize.
since 2019.